All right, Mr. DJ's back. If you don't know how to start a video, just say, all right, one of the all-time cliches. Counting down my fantasy playlist of October 18th, 1997, up to number 23. Up 8 notches from 31. One of the most haunting records I've ever heard, but there's something about this record that just got under my skin. I mean this positively. This is like a mix of the haunting melodies, the way that Duncan Sheik goes into the chorus of this record. She runs away. It brings on feelings of bliss and yet melancholy at the same time. It's joy and sadness. It's like nuclear fusion. They just fuse together and out comes energy. Out comes the love, showering the love on this record. She runs away. I believe Hitline played this, and I might have seen a video on VH1. Just remember listening to this record and just a state up near I can't pronounce the word, but you get the picture. Made me happy. Brings a smile on my face. Duncan Sheik, She Runs Away. It's from his album called Duncan Sheik, self-titled. The first single was Barely Breathing. That was his signature hit. Reason for Living was the third single. Squeezed between these two records was She Runs Away. He started out working with 30 songs. He had 30 songs to work with. He conjured up 30 songs along with a producer named Rupert Hine. I'll get into Rupert Hine in just a minute. My God, this is where the research really took me places. Uh, they pared it down to 11 songs. Might have been 12 songs for the album. 18 not used. But this album was being made at the time when Duncan Sheik, his contract with Immortal Records was bought out or it was taken over by Atlantic. And he's working out a deal with Atlantic Records while he's working on this album. Gotta talk about Rupert Hine. Oh my God, I did research on this guy. This Rupert Hine, the guy who produced Duncan Sheik's album, oh God. Let's just start. Let's just start. He's worked on albums or remixed albums by Yvonne Elliman, Murray Head, Krista Berg, Howard Jones. Howard Jones, he produced one of Howard Jones' early hits, What Is Love? What Is Love back? I think it's back, gosh, dog it, around the spring of 1984. He also produced on the Private Dancer album. He was one of the producers, not the only producer. There was a bunch of people working on this album by Tina Turner, Private Dancer. This was Tina Turner's big comeback album back in the 80s. But he produced the second single off that album, Rupert Hines did, Better Be Good to Me, sort of a hard rocking record by Tina Turner. Fall of 1984. It was a top 10 hit. You don't hear it that much on the 80s, the stations that plays 80s music, but it was a big hit. One of her biggest hits. It was a runner-up to What's Love Got to Do with It, and oh my gosh, it gets even better. He's worked with Saga, what's her name, Suzanne Vega, Thompson Twins, and Mila Jovovich, and I probably mispronounced her last name. If I remember correctly, she was a Russian actress, model, but she came out with an album. Her name was Mila, and it was called Divine Comedy. And I was blown away by this video called Gentleman Who Fell. She did. It was just, God, the sense of urgency that she poured into the course of this record. And her voice just floated right through the verse. It was just almost angelic. That record was produced by Rupert Hine. This was in 1994. I remember watching this video. Well, I can't get the exact timeline down. I believe it's like late 1994, early 1995. Bringing back some memories of the 90s. Well, anyway, he produced this record by Duncan Sheik. She Runs Away. And by the way, on this album by Duncan Sheik, Howard Jones appears. He makes a cameo appearance on this album. He plays the outro piano on Reason for Living, which was Duncan Sheik's third single off the album. Well, here it is at number 23, up from 31. Duncan Sheik, She Runs Away.